Okay, so yes, welcome to part 2. I'm just gonna upload all these videos in part 1, part 2, part 3, because I don't feel like editing. I never edit these. Anyways, so my second category was music, and so my goal last year was to go to at least one show with Jessica and with Meg, whether it is individually or all three of us at the same time, and I am happy to admit that we did it, and I was able to go to see Andrew Jackson Jihad with Jessica and Megan, and that was in San Diego at some random place that I don't really remember. I think it's called the Constellation Room in San Diego, which I didn't really know. Because when I think Constellation Room, I think of the one in Santa Ana, but that's not the point. And then we went to this other show for Mr. Little Jeans, and that was at the Constellation Room in Santa Ana. I think the other place was called the Observatory in San Diego, but that's not the point. But yeah, I just remember that, I think me, Meg, and Jessica were all sitting around, and we were just like, we should just go to a random show that's really cheap. And so we went online and we found Mr. Little Jeans, and it was really, really cheap. I think it was like $10-15 for the tickets, and honestly we just went to hang out with each other and have a good time, even though we've never heard of this musician. And the musician was pretty good, even though it wasn't my type of music, but it was fun just being with my friends. And yeah, Andrew Jackson Jihad was fun. There was there were three different bands playing at the Andrew Jackson Jihad show. The first one I don't really remember, because Jessica and Meg, they kind of stuck in the back because they just wanted to hear the music, but I like moshing, I like being in that environment. And I gotta say, okay, so Andrew Jackson Jihad came out, and I was super excited, super happy. I remember I was in line, before the show started, I was in line to get merch because I really wanted a shirt, and I look over and I see this guy drinking a vodka thing, and it was Sean Bennett. I'm probably butchering his last name, but I have a huge crush on him. He's physically, yeah, just overall, he's my ideal guy, except for the existentialism, but I have a big crush on him. And I just went over and I was like, "Are you Sean Bennett?" And he's like, "Yeah." And then I was freaking out and super flustered, so I kept on saying "Oh my god, you're so great, I love you so much, and can I take a selfie with you?" And he's like, "Yeah, just don't have the flash on." I was sad though that the selfie didn't turn out well, but that's fine because I still got to meet him and I got to give him a hug. He's a good hugger. I got to give him a hug and I got to meet him, and I was really happy. And what else happened? So I met Sean Bennett, and that was really cool. And so the other band that was playing was and pretty much the headliner. I thought Andrew Jackson was the headliner, but no. Joyce Manor was the headliner, and that was terrible. Okay, so Andrew Jackson Jihad went on, and it was frustrating because my hair is long. Behind me, they kept on pulling my hair, so as I'm trying to sing along to Heart Elation, which is one of my all-time favorite songs, my head was pulled back because someone was grabbing my hair, and that was annoying. And there's this chick next to me who kept on apologizing for stuff, and I'm just stop, please stop. I'm happy that she apologized, but it's when you're in that environment, accidentally bumping into someone, that's expected, and she just kept apologizing, and I was a little annoyed by that, but I understood why she didn't. She wanted to be nice, but I could tell that that I was surrounded by kids, which is weird to think of because I'm 22. I think I was 21 at the time, but I'm 22 now, and I just didn't know how much teenagers bothered me until I hit my 20s, quite honestly. But anyways, yes, so that is my Andrew Jackson Jihad story. But then, Joyce Manor came out, and that one was crazy. When people go to shows and they're older, they're more polite and they're more considerate of those around them. With the younger crowd, everyone was reckless and selfish and only thinking about themselves. People were rude and punching people for no good reason. But, when you're in an older crowd, we're all there to have fun, and we know not to punch people for no good reason. But I was able to crowd surf for you know, after a while of trying, I was able to crowd surf for a couple seconds, and like, you know, because like I didn't want to do that during Andrew because I really love that band. I wanted to soak in every second. But then Joyce Manor, and I was like, you know what, why not? Like, this band I don't really know anything about. I'm here to have fun. I was able to like, you know, finally someone helped me to like, you know, get on the crowd and crowd surf a little bit. But then I don't know what happened, but I was dropped. I almost fell on my head, but it was like really cool to see how the people around me, like someone like cradled me, and like, so I was like this, so I was crowd surfing, and then I fell, and then before my head hit the ground, which was scary as hell, someone cradles me and like puts me upright again. And to that person, I feel really bad that we weren't able to like talk or hang out after the show, but I really appreciate it, and thank you very much. Oh yeah, anyways, going back to Andrew Jackson Jihad, like, at the end of the show, Sean, he, like, has the set list, crumples it up, and he threw it into the audience. And then the girl next to me caught it, but then she was like, here, she, like, looks at me, because we ended up friends, I guess. She looks at me and she said, here, you can have it because you're the one, you've been fighting for it this entire time. And I was like, oh, thank you so much. Which, you know, I would never do that for another person. I'm just that selfish when it comes to my music. So yeah, anyways, that was Andrew Jackson Jihad. Also, around the beginning of the year, I was able to go to see the Front Bottoms with Nick and his girlfriend Jackie, and that was fun because, again, I also like the Front Bottoms. Yeah, so there was the Front Bottom show. And then, okay, so probably one of my favorite moments was Megan is Megan, as you know, is my bestest friend of all time. I love her. I would die for her. She is my everything. And, like, you know, I honestly feel as if best friends are actually your soulmates instead of romantic significant others. And, like, I can say without a doubt that Megan's my soulmate. But anyways, excuse me. So, like, back in November of 2014, she got me tickets to see my favorite band, the World Inferno Friendship Society. And I always told her that, you know, I'm going to repay you because that's my favorite band and I want to take you to see your favorite band. And so, lucky enough, the Classic Crime, which is one of her favorite bands of all time, was playing at Chain Reaction in Anaheim. I think it's in Anaheim. But she told me about it, she freaked out, and when she told me, I was like, oh, okay. So automatically I just bought the ticket for her and me to go. So yeah, so one night I got to take Megan to see the Classic Crime at Chain Reaction, and she was just so happy, and I was just really glad that I was able to do that for her and have that bonding moment, because again, she graduated at the end of the year. Anyways, another concert that I went to that, if someone told me as a junior high schooler that I would end up at this concert, I would have punched them in the face, but I went to see Justin Bieber. I'm not kidding you. Me, Jessica, and Meg, we went to see the Ellen show, and it was Justin Bieber week or something, and he gave everyone in the audience $500, like that. No, Ellen, no, it wasn't. Oh God, sorry, let me get the story straight. So, me and my friends went to the Ellen show. Founder of CEO of SC Johnson was there. He gave everyone $500. It was also Justin Bieber week. Justin Bieber gave everyone in the audience 2 tickets to his Purpose tour in the Staples Center. So originally there was a girl in my carpool who's a huge Justin Bieber fan, and I invited her to go, but as the concert date came up, like, the concert was on Sunday, and then we had a nursing test on Monday, and so she was like, you know, I'm sorry, like, I have too many things going on this weekend, give the ticket to someone else. So thankfully my friend Montana really wanted to go, and I went with her, and she's a really big Justin Bieber fan. So I saw Justin Bieber in the Staples Center with my friend Montana, and so, like, Megan and Jessica, they also both got 2 tickets, but they were sitting, like, somewhere else. Because, like, you know, even though we were sitting together at the Ellen show, like, they just gave the tickets out randomly. And out of all 3 of us, me and Montana got the worst seats in the house. I was, like, so mad. But whatever, I went to see Justin Bieber, which I think that if 15, 16-year-old me knew that I was gonna see Justin Bieber as a 20-something, I'd be very pissed at myself. But hey, the tickets were free, and I can say that I did it. So yeah, because we were like, it was annoying. We were all the way in the back, like at the top, and then like off to the side, like to the wayside, but whatever. We were able to go and sing and dance. But it was funny because, again, we had a nursing test the following day, so we were like studying on the way there, and at the concert we had little note cards that we were studying. But thank the Lord Jesus, like my professor the next day, she was just done with life, and she just looks at us and she's like, your test is open note. It was such a beautiful day. And then like I kind of told her like, yeah, me and Montana saw Justin Bieber last night, and I think she was kind of mad at us, but it doesn't matter. I got an A on that test. Only because it was open note, because Lord knows I had no idea what was going on in my critical care class. It was okay. Anyways, the last concert that I went to, wow, I went to 6 concerts this past year. The other concert that I went to, it's kind of a sad story, but one of my favorite bands since middle school is Motion City Soundtrack, and then they announced on Instagram that after like, I think like 10, 20 years, they decided to call it quits, and it was just, they didn't want to play together anymore, and I was really upset over that. But then I remember they're like, okay, get your VIP tickets and blah, blah, blah. And so I took my laptop to chapel just so I can grab a VIP ticket as soon as they went on sale. I brought my laptop to chapel and looked at my computer while I was in chapel for that, which like I never do. I always try to take chapel seriously. So I was able to get a VIP ticket, but I was freaking out because, okay, so I'll just tell you the story because we're here now, and I'm going to break this up in 20-minute videos, but I tried to insert a Foley catheter into a patient, and I was not sterile, and so my professor and she worked with me for a little bit, and then she was like, hey, like, we're going to have a makeup day. If you want to come, I think it would be a good idea, and it was the same day as a concert. So I'm sitting there freaking out thinking that this makeup day was mandatory, but turns out that I freaked out over nothing, which usually happens because she didn't make me go to the makeup day, and I told her that I would, like, I feel like I proved myself because every week I went to skills lab to practice inserting a Foley sterilely, and then on my next rotation, every time I went to the hospital, I always looked for an opportunity to insert a Foley catheter. And, at the end, on my very last day of clinical, I was able to insert a Foley catheter sterilely. So I was very happy about that, very pleased. But yeah, so I almost didn't go to that concert, but I did. But the thing that pissed me off was, like, they were like, oh yeah, get at this time exactly. If we close the doors on you, we're sorry, but you have to be here at the concert venue at this time exactly. So I show up, and they still make us stay outside in line for like an hour or two, and I was not happy with that. But at least at the end, I got inside. They had like this little acoustic set. Okay, so they gave us like these badges. They gave us a poster with all of their signatures on it, and there was like a little mini acoustic set, and like I was so happy I almost cried because, this is one of my favorite bands since middle school, and now they're calling it quits. And so at the end of the acoustic set, they were like, hey, does anyone have any questions? And my dumb ass asks them, if you were being served as a main dish my dumb ass asks them, if you were being served as a main dish, what side dishes would you like to be prepared with? And no one in the band could answer that, but I still feel kind of lame for asking it, but I was like, fuck, why not? But yeah, I got to meet all of them and shake all of their hands. I wrote this letter to them before the show, and I was able to hand it to Justin Pierre in his hands. And when the music started playing, I was able to be at the very, very front. And at the end of the show, he Justin threw a pick into the audience, and some other girl grabbed it, but I snatched it from her hands because I'm a terrible person. Again, when it comes to my music, I'm pretty ruthless and selfish. But yeah, So that was a thing, and yes, I was able to see one of my favorite bands before they were done. Because I still think that they're playing on their farewell tour, but they're done with the US leg, and now they're like overseas. But I was just really happy because, again, like, you know, I just remember when I first heard about them, Jamie gave me some music on my old iPod, and it was, for a really long time, I thought Motion City was a movie, and Motion City soundtrack was the soundtrack to that movie, but no, like, Commit This to Memory is hands down one of my favorite overall albums. I love every single song, and I know every single song on that album. But yeah, I was able to take a selfie with Justin Pierre, and I took tons of pictures, and it's like, you know, I got to meet these people that I've been listening to for years, and even though, like, to them it might be like, oh, you know, just another fan, like, to me it was really significant. I'm really happy that that happened, and I got to meet Justin. Yeah, like, I met, like, a whole bunch of random people. Like, I got to meet Sean Bennett, I got to meet Motion City Soundtrack, so yeah, that is really fun. And now let me stop this for part 3.